mandatory front of package labeling. And it will be a very simple label, something like they use across Latin America very, very successfully, red light, green light.
Senator Kennedy told RFK Jr., "The ultra-processed food work is good, but it's still too complicated for working Americans." Then he asked why most hospitals are still ignoring a presidential order requiring them to publish their prices. Welcome to American hearings.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, one of the more beneficial things that I think your agency has done under your leadership, in my judgment, is to educate the American people about ultra-processed foods. But it's still too complicated. How can your department go about uncomplicating it? I mean, the American people are busy. They're busy earning a living. And they don't have time to sit down and research the definition of an ultra-processed food. Rather than listing all the ultra-processed foods, which of course would invite litigation and consternation and gnashing of the teeth, how can you come up with a list of things that people should look for on the label to know if it's ultra processed? For example, sodium. If it's got more than this amount of sodium, it's ultra processed. Does that make sense? Do you understand my question?
I think it's not only a question of I understand, but it's a question that my agency's put a lot of thought into. There has been no workable definition of ultra-processed food before we came in here. That's regulatory malpractice. We now
There has or hasn't?
There has not, never.
Well, why don't you do it? If, with respect, why don't you do it?
We already did it. So our regulations are now, we've developed the definition within our agency. It's now, before the rule gets finalized, it's in the interagency process. There are other agencies that have equities like USDA, Department of Commerce, OMB. They have to review our proposal and then approve it. And I would say, Senator, in the meantime, people should eat real food. So,
Bobby, let me stop you because I'm going to run out of time. Look, here's the problem, and I commend you for what you've done. But the American people don't have time to sit down and read a rule or regulation by the federal government. Where I'd like to see you end up on this is not list any particular food items, but say here are 10 ingredients that constitute ultra-processed food. And if it's got sodium above a certain level, it's ultra-processed. If it's got such and such, something real simple that can be communicated. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, and we're doing exactly that. Once we get that definition of ultra-processed food, then we're going to go to mandatory front-of-package labeling. And it will be a very simple label, something like they use across Latin America very, very successfully, red light, green light, yellow light. And so people will be able to see the green light, and that's food that's good for you. And if they do the red light, don't eat it. If it's the yellow light, if it's late at night and, you're watching the football game, maybe you can.
Okay, let me stop you. I like the way you're headed. I'm sorry, but my time's limited. Please continue with that. It will be enormously beneficial to the American people. Your agency, across all the sub-agencies, grants a lot of grants. Do all of them have provisions that overhead is capped at 15%?
Well, those would be the grants to the universities.
No, your department issues a lot of grants.
Yeah.
And the agencies under your department. Do all of them contain the 15% cap?
They will contain a 15% cap.
Okay. Finally, this is a question for CMS. Dr. Oz isn't here. An executive order was issued some time ago that says every hospital has to publish conspicuously a list of 30 main procedures and the cost. Most of the hospitals haven't done that. Those that have done it, you have to click 27.3 times in order to find it on their website. Only 27 hospitals have been fined for not doing it. Why aren't we doing more? The hospitals are
The
ignoring it.
regulation was passed during the last days of the Trump administration. It was not enforced during the Biden administration. We now have promulgated final regulations. They're already promulgated. That requires the hospitals not only to post, but to certify. So they're legally bound by that. And there are draconian punishments for them. And we've already sent out, I think, 1,000 warning letters.
I'm out of time. Thanks, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Welcome back to American Hearings. This is a notably collegial Kennedy exchange. He opens by praising the department's work on ultra-processed food awareness as one of its most beneficial achievements before getting to the push. His point is practical. Working Americans don't have time to research federal definitions. What they need is a short, readable list of ingredients or thresholds if it has sodium. Above this level, it's ultra-processed, simple enough to scan on a label in a grocery aisle. RFK Jr. confirms that's exactly the direction the agency is heading, a defined threshold-based system leading to mandatory front-of-package labeling, modeled on Latin American traffic light systems, red, yellow, green. Kennedy pivots to hospital price transparency, where a presidential executive order requiring hospitals to conspicuously publish costs for 30 main procedures has been widely ignored. He notes that hospitals that technically comply bury the information deep in their websites, an average of 27 clicks to find it. RFK Jr.'s CMS representative confirms the Biden administration didn't enforce the order, that final regulations have now been promulgated, and that roughly 1,000 warning letters have already gone out. Subscribe to American Hearings.